Developing and manufacturing vessels at speed is another trademark of China's military shipbuilding capacity, the scale and scope of which are impressive by any measure. With that in mind, we may well not have to wait long to see more stealthy designs emerge from Chinese shipyards. Recent images have emerged in the past few days showing a new naval platform belonging to the People's Liberation Army Navy (PLA) Navy of China. According to various open-source intelligence reports, the photos depict an experimental stealth corvette with low observability features. The photo of the Chinese warship, the name and designation of which remain unknown, began to circulate recently on social media. It shows the vessel docked and from the rear aspect, seen from an elevated position off the left-hand side. As seen in previous imagery of the ship, it has notably smooth planar and faceted surfaces, with very little in the way of protuberances or apertures. This is in keeping with the vessel being intended to test low observable stealthy features, as some have surmised. New images have provided a more detailed look at a mysterious stealth frigate currently being tested in China, which is thought to be a technology demonstrator for the country's next generation of surface warships. China is currently producing destroyers at a rate comparable to the capacities of the next several producers combined, and has in some years launched 10 destroyers in a single year. To place this figure in perspective, only 6 countries in the world field more than 10 destroyers in their entire fleets, with the US Navy fielding 75, Japan 36, and South Korea 13. With the Type 052D and Type 055 destroyers having been in production for over a decade. The stealth capabilities, and possibly other design features, being tested on the unnamed new light frigate, are expected to influence the designs of future ships that succeed them. Referred to in local media as a comprehensive test platform, the stealth frigate was first confirmed to have headed out to sea in mid-May, 6 months after the first images of the ship emerged in November 2023. Among the new ship's notable stealth features are an integrated mast structure on the bridge, radar reflecting fixtures on its superstructure, smooth planar and faceted inward canted surfaces above the ship's waist, and a lack of major protruding aerials. The ship is approximately 97 meters long, and carries an unusual single-aperture launcher that is speculated to contain an electro-optical device or directed energy weapon. Although reducing radar cross-section is considered less critical for surface ships than it is for combat aircraft, it nevertheless provides a number of important advantages. The United States notably sought to develop a stealth destroyer in the 1990s. The Zumwalt-class destroyer. Although the program was considered a resounding failure with ships costing over $9 billion each, having their main armaments removed, and suffering from notoriously poor reliability. With the US having continued to rely heavily on the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer designed during the Cold War, and made slow progress towards developing a next-generation destroyer class, this has presented China's defense sector with the opportunity to be the first to successfully pursue such a program. On the other hand, some earlier images suggest the presence of an HQ-10 surface-to-air missile launcher mounted on the rear of the main superstructure, just before the flight deck. This point defense system is comparable in design and functionality to the US rolling airframe missile. However, in the new images, the launcher structure shows a single opening, which has led to speculation about its true purpose. It could be an electro-optical device or even a directed energy weapon, a technology that China has started to test on its naval units. Another hypothesis suggests that this Chinese naval platform might be intended not only to test stealth technologies but also to evaluate a fully electric hybrid propulsion system, similar to that used in the US Zumwalt-class destroyers. Regardless of its exact function, the emergence of this new corvette is a clear indication of China's interest in developing low observability designs. Additionally, it could be a precursor to a future class of stealth corvettes, particularly useful for the People's Liberation Army Navy in operations within strategic areas like the First Island Chain. Observers have also pointed out some other possible anomalies in the appearance of the ship, including no obvious door providing access between the flight deck and hangar and the lack of a hatch for a towed sonar array. One possibility is that the vessel has no internal hangar garage at all, instead with a flight deck only for more limited operations by drones and/or helicopters. The mast atop the main superstructure, meanwhile, looks somewhat similar to the Japanese Unicorn integrated stealth antenna system, but is much less substantial, raising a question about what it might actually contain. On the other hand, a lack of obvious aerials and radar reflecting fixtures on the superstructure or deck would also be expected for a stealthy vessel, although perhaps not quite to this degree. Taken together, observers have suggested that the warship might be more of a proof of concept for a generalized low observable vessel, or a testbed specifically for signature reduction measures, rather than an all-round trials platform with a full array of operational type systems. It's also possible that more equipment will be added at a later date, but the lack of such features, or apparent provisions for them at this stage is at least puzzling. Another possibility that has been raised in addition to this being a test platform for stealthy features is that the vessel is also intended to demonstrate the potential of an all-electric hybrid propulsion system. A system of this kind, as used in the US Navy's Zumwalt-class destroyer, offers benefits in terms of efficiency, survivability, operating costs, and system redundancy. In general, once masted, an all-electric propulsion system also provides more flexibility in terms of the vessel's internal layout, and allows for the copious amounts of power to be available to advanced sensors and future weaponry. These theories would also tally with the apparent Chinese description of the vessel as a comprehensive test platform, based on the wording seen in a graphic shown during the launch. It may also signal longer-term plans to develop a new class of stealthy corvettes, something that would be notably useful for the People's Liberation Army Navy, especially for littoral warfare, for example within the highly strategic First Island chain. Whether ultimately intended for an operational role, or primarily expected to feed information into projects to develop other stealthy warships, the mysterious vessel has been developed very rapidly. Noted as being under construction in August 2023, it was already on sea trials before the end of the same year.